What's up, everybody? We got a huge Saturday here today. We got the big game going down, and I got my boy Detroit BC here with me to break it down with everybody. We got a few other top 25 games today, but do any of them really matter, Chris? Do any matter? Or is today is just the big day here for our two teams? Maybe Michigan will sneak one in, and Harbaugh will finally get that stigma off his back. He can't win the big game. So what do you think, Chris, here? What do you think about this big Saturday today we got going on so far?
Yeah, nothing really matters today. It's Saturday. It's the game. It's the rivalry. Even while I was watching Thanksgiving Day football, every broadcast, all three games, they're running promos about this game. And they say there's a lot of college football on Saturday, but none like the game. And that's this one. Ohio State comes to Ann Arbor to take on the Wolverines here. And to me, there's a lot to touch on here. And I know I don't want to just get it all out now. I don't want to bury the lead because I know we'll get to this. We've allotted a little bit of time to talk about this game, but I'm super excited. And one thing I will say before we even get into the show, I'm not, touching this game from a betting perspective. I never bet the Lions and I never bet Michigan. So I'm looking forward to digging in not only the entire college slate, but this one specifically.
Yeah, hey, that's not a bad idea. Sometimes leaving your fandom emotions on the side when you're gambling with your money, because I've learned that lesson a few times over the years, not to do that. But Chris, we got the Woodward Sports Network has got a pregame show going on down there at the Brown Jug. So I know this is it's pretty early here. It's like 9 a.m. here. So get your asses down there, 10 to 12 down there at Little Brown Jug with Stick and Nick Leach are going to break down everything for you guys and have a lot of fun down there, I'm sure. So it sounds like Braylon and Ryan might sneak in. So who knows what could go on. Sounds like a lot of fun down there at Little Brown Jug. But also, Chris, we got some other games. We got Michigan State today. They got Penn State. And so we got other top 25 games that we're going to look at here. But, Chris, so let's just dive into it here. So we got Georgia and Georgia Tech here, the first game this afternoon. Looks like we got Georgia Tech getting 35 points against the number one Bulldogs. 67% of the money's coming in. Georgia is obviously 10-0. Georgia Tech 3-7, not looking too good. But Chris, what do you think about this number one Georgia team? Are they ever going to play anybody any good here? It seems like these last few weeks playing some cupcakes.
It's crazy to me. Remember, we were on a broadcast together when Alabama was playing like Youngstown State or something, like they just wiped the floor with them. So I don't know. You look at what Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State. It's just a heavy day for rivalry games and big time games. And then you get the best team in the supposed best team in the country at Georgia Tech. They don't have far to go. Their stadium is gorgeous, right off 75 in the heart of Atlanta here. But to me, Georgia wins big. I'm no doubt taking Georgia minus the 35 points in this one. In terms of the over-under, I think I would go on the under in this one. This is going to be completely one-sided. Georgia wins this thing probably 40-7, something along those lines, and we move on, or 47-7, something like that. I know I said wouldn't cover the spread here, but to me, let's just stay away from the over-under. I'm painting myself into a big-time corner here. I'm talking crazy. So give me Georgia to win this one 47-7, and I'm not thinking twice.
Yeah, Alabama and Georgia are going to be playing for that SEC championship game next week. So this is pretty much like a practice for them. So I don't know if they're going to crank it up and really want to smash them by 34 points. They already know where they're going. If they win that game, we obviously understand that they're going to be in the championship talk there. But it looks like Georgia's covered the last 10 straight in Georgia Tech. Obviously, they play each other. They must be friendly rivals over there. I can't see Georgia Tech competing in this one at all, but hey, you never know. They do have Alabama looking ahead. So that 35 points does seem to be pretty steep. But Chris, here we go. We got the big one here. We got the number 2 Buckies coming in Ann Arbor to face our boys down there, the Wolverines today. So Chris, this one here, man, I mean, we know everybody knows what the deal is here. I mean, we haven't fared well against the Buckies. We are 4-9 the last 13 against the spread. We haven't won in a few years here, but it seems like the makeup of this game for me has always been different. Ohio State always had one of those quick, elusive, scrambling type quarterbacks.
There it
And I
is.
think this time here, yeah, there it is. So, like we said there, with the over, there's just a few trends here. The over's 5-0 in the last meetings in Michigan. The over's 7-0 in their last 7 meetings there, and then the Buckeyes are 6-2 in their last 8 meetings at U of M. But like I said, Chris, I think here, you got a quarterback now that's going to stand back there with Stroud. I think Michigan's got pass rush. So, I mean, we got some strengths colliding here. I think we could be in for an interesting game. I'm always one to say it's tough to win on the road. And obviously, Michigan's going to be ready for this one here. Obviously, the Buckeyes, obviously like to lay it up and put it up as much as they can on Michigan. Ryan Day said he wants to put 100 up on them, which if they do that this year, I will, I'll be amazed. I'll shave my head bald if that shit happens. There's no way in hell that's happening, Chris. But anyway, I don't know. What do you think of this big game here? You got any big plans to watch it? You said you're not going to bet on it at all, but just kind of maybe even looking at it from maybe a DFS perspective or whatever else.
Yeah, so when you look at this one, as you said, Ohio State travels to Michigan. It's 2-5 here. We'll get that when we talk about Michigan State. To me, it's odd that Michigan State, I believe, is their 12th, and they beat U of M. And I won't even get into it what the people are doing here. But this one, major college football playoff implications here. You look at C.J. Stroud. I think he's completed 214 total passes this season, just over 3,000 total yards, 30 touchdown passes with only 5 interceptions here. The kid, I should say, just doesn't turn the ball over here. And Ohio State's defense has been okay. Let's say it's not one of those dominant Ohio State defenses that we've seen over the years here. So to me, you look at what I know it was a long time ago. What was it? The first week of the season when Oregon, they beat Ohio State and everybody was stunned here. And look how Oregon did that. I know that's, we're talking literally a month or two ago, but you have a pass rush and you run the football. What are the two things? And I'll ask you if you want to reply here, Scott. What are the two things that Michigan does the best, that they do well? They run the ball and they have an insane pass rush. This Aiden Hutchinson kid has, if he has the game of his life here, couple sacks and just carries the load here, you could see a case to be made for Aiden Hutchinson to be a top 2, top 3 selection in the NFL draft here. So to me, per usual, this game is absolutely just stuffed with storylines. It's absolutely over the top with playoff implications and Big Ten championship game dreams in this one. So it's everything that's happened in the past. You know what I love most about this game? When two teams come in together like this, you can throw out what happened the last 5 meetings, what happened the last 10 meetings. We're right here and now, baby. If you win, everything is forgotten. If you lose, go back to the same old, the drag. No, still nothing in terms of the Big Ten for Jim Harbaugh. So to me, obviously it's a must win. I don't even have to say that silly to even bring that up. But to me, I do firmly believe if I was a betting man, which I am, I would have no issue taking the Michigan Wolverines plus 7.5 here, because I do believe that they win outright, 24-17, 24-21, something along those lines. So it's not going to be this massive point explosion, 56-54, something crazy like this. So give me the Wolverines plus 7.5 to win in a tight game down to the last few minutes. And I guess if you're a true blue Michigan fan, you wouldn't want it any other way.
Absolutely. I want to touch on a point you brought up there. You said that I think is a great point. I mean, these kids understand, like Hutchinson understands, Ojabo understands. I mean, this right here is a paycheck game. I mean, if one of these two or both of them just light it up, they hold Ohio State down, maybe each of them have a few stacks. I mean, this is going to just rocket them right up the board, the draft board. We've seen it over and over, these late games, bowl games, championship games, championship games and for different conferences. Got kid steps up, does really well. He jumps up in the draft, gets himself a little bit more money. So, I mean, there's a lot on the line, as you mentioned here. So I've been kind of looking into it. I understand Ohio State does not have too many starters that's even played in this big game. Obviously, with them skipping the rivalry game last year because of COVID, that didn't end up happening. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting here. You got a lot of kids that are new to it. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. And I kind of think maybe they come into this game, Chris, with a little bit higher. And I just think maybe they just maybe they're just not focused as much. I mean, to me, I mean, they just had their way with the Sparties. I don't think that they had to really, sweat that one at all. Obviously, they literally had 49 points at half. It was 49-0. So I would have felt better if they, if I'm a Buckeye fan, if they would have maybe struggled a little bit with Michigan State, maybe played a little bit of a game with them. For them just to roll them, yeah, you can say, hey, it's great momentum, but come on, these are young kids. I mean, are they going to be a little bit over? A little bit overzealous, like thinking here. They gonna think that they're gonna be able to do that to Michigan, and then if all of a sudden they start to struggle a little bit, are they gonna panic a little bit more? So there's a lot to be said here, but I'm just gonna sit back. I'm with you. I've bet on this game so many times, and then your emotion, it's like double killer. Obviously, it hasn't fared too well for us here recently, but I'm hoping that we can start changing that today. So I'm gonna sit back, Chris, get me some chicken wings, maybe get me some food, maybe have a beer or two. And this game's here at noon, so right out the
I
gate,
can't
Chris,
even
we
do
can
that.
grab it.
I can't. I mean, I'm not. People talk about just regular everyday life, right? They're anxious. They have a ton of anxiety. They don't like to drive to work, and then when they get to like everybody has, a certain thing, right? And I've made no secret about the fact that I am like superstitious to the max. As you can see, I just got my backwards hat on. I have a Tigers hoodie on because I have a special shirt, a special hat I wear. I have a foam Wolverine head that I wear, and I don't put any of that stuff on until about 15 to 20 minutes before kickoff here. So I feel like if I were to wear this now, wear my whole jersey and my whole Michigan get up on a broadcast prior to kickoff, I wouldn't feel right. I would be anxious. So to me, getting a full spread of nachos or wings, it's a no-go because I'm just zoned in to watch the game. And I guess I shouldn't say thankfully, but unfortunately, the last few seasons, it's just been a melee, right? Where halftime, it's just about over here. So again, I'm hoping to really sit down and focus on this game, and we'll see what happens. So give me another few hours here, and I'll have my Michigan jersey on with the hat, with my foam Wolverine in my hand. And the superstition, does it pay off? Absolutely not, but it makes me at least feel a little bit better, Scott.
Yeah, this is one of these games, Chris. I probably won't sit down much. I get, I'll start walking around, I'll start hooting and hollering and yelling, and even if I am sitting down, as soon as the big play happens, I'm gonna jump up and scream or something. So, I mean, it is what it is. Good thing all my neighbors around here, Chris, are Michigan fans, so don't have to worry about it. There's a dude around the corner that represents his Buckeye stuff out there, so he's too far away to hear me yelling and screaming, so I don't think anybody is going to be complaining. But yeah, so good luck to the boys down there in Ann Arbor. Again, you guys go down there to that Little Brown Jug. We're going to have our crew down there for the pregame show, so should be a lot of fun with that one. But we do have some other games here we're going to have to talk about, but not sure if we're going to ever get to watch these other ones at noon. Now, I do have 3 TVs, Chris, but I don't even know if I will be able to even watch any of these other ones. I'll probably be so in tune to this Michigan game that I won't even care what's really going on the other channels. But we got Houston coming up here with let's see where we are. Lost my spot here. Houston and Connecticut. I thought that's who they were playing. Houston is
UConn.
giving them 30. UConn. Houston is giving UConn 32.5 points. Thank you, Chris. Houston's 10-0. 75% of the money's coming in on here. This one did open up at 57.5 over under. It's down to 54. UConn's 1-10. They're terrible. We got Houston 10-1. So, Chris, what are you thinking here? This looks like another kind of warm up
No
game
brainer.
before a bowl game.
Yeah, this one's a no-brainer here. And when I looked into it, I didn't know that Connecticut or UConn was that bad. They've only won one game, and I'm looking. Well, Houston, have they been impressive? They got some young talent that's starting to put some stuff together, much like UNLV down there in the desert. But to me, Houston at UConn, I'm not even thinking twice. I'm all in on Houston laying the points here to UConn. I don't even think it's going to be close. I think we see a case here where Houston covers by the start of the third quarter here. So I've already booked this one. It's part of my best bet parlay at the end of the broadcast here. This one's just easy peasy. Sometimes the college football gods give you a gift. You can just add it at the end of a parlay, boost up your payout a little bit more. And this is one of them. Houston big time. Not even thinking twice.
Like it. Like the confidence there. So we got the next game. We got number 18 Wake Forest going into Boston College. This one here started at 4.5. It's up to 5.5 for BC. The over-under hasn't really moved much, 64.5 down to 64, but 66% of the money is coming in on the number 18 Wake Forest here. They're 9-2, 6-5 for BC. They're both 5-5 in their last 10 against the spread. Chris, this one here, I mean, yeah, this looks like here. Line looks a little fishy if you ask me. I mean, they're only getting 5.5 at home. Wake Forest. I think I'd lean anything here. I'd probably lean the under in this game.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's exactly what I was going to say. In this one, through the whole slate, right? You called me, just pull the curtain back. We talked. We do the same thing every week. We go through the top 25. So in turn, as you could see, hopefully this isn't frowned upon, but these are my notes, all my top 25. And I highlight my best bets for the viewer to go through it. And one thing that stood out, throughout the whole slate today is the over-under in this one. I firmly believe that the people who lay the odds here really overshot the over-under here. As you said, I believe it's 64.5. Wake Forest at Boston College, just a little too high for me, and it just stuck out like a sore thumb. So yeah, I'm taking the under 64.5. I do firmly believe that Wake Forest wins this one, but I think both teams struggle to get to 30 points. I have Wake Forest winning this one 29-23, so the under is very much in play for me. Again, already booked, part of my my favorite parlay at the end of the broadcast here.
Yeah, the unders hit actually in this series the last 9 out of 10 times, so you might be on a little bit something there. That does seem to be pretty high. Moving on to the next one, we got Texas Tech at number 8, Baylor. This one here started at 14.5. It's down to 14. Over under 52. We got Texas Tech 6-5 against the 9-2 Baylor. Looks like 74% of the money is coming in so far on Baylor at 14. So this one here, Chris, this one's another one here. Looks like a top team here could have a cakewalk into their next game. When you look at the recent times they played, the underdogs 4-5 against the spread in their last 5 meetings. Texas Tech is actually 4-1 in their last 5 meetings. So I'm going to guess they've been the underdog the last 4 out of 5. But the over is 8-3 their last 11 meetings. And Texas Tech is 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 meetings, actually, in Baylor. So been hanging tough down there in Baylor. So I don't know, Chris. Is this one here? Anything here stand out to you in this game?
Yeah, I do want to say on Friday there was college basketball on, early in the day, and if nobody noticed, Baylor beat Michigan State in basketball. And as a superstitious man, I look for anything and everything as an omen, or look for anything and everything to kind of spin towards my advantage or feed in to my weird college football riddled anxiety. So Baylor beat Michigan State on Friday in basketball. So in turn, I have Baylor minus 14 in this one, and I believe Baylor wins big. You're looking at about 3 touchdowns in this one. Baylor, final score 41-20. They beat Michigan State in basketball, does that have anything to do with the game today between Michigan and Ohio State? Probably not, but I'm just trying to let folks understand the way my weird brain works. So give me Baylor minus 14 to win big, 3-4 touchdowns.
Hey, that's all right. I mean, we'll try to figure out how that weird brain works. Hey, we like your notes though. I mean, that's definitely a help. So notes are always good, especially for us old folks. We don't know how to do all these fancy stuff these kids got nowadays, Chris.
I'm just waiting for the day, after I just shared what, the basketball score and finishing, and spinning it. I'm waiting one of these live broadcasts one day. There's going to be a knock at my door, and you will have called not the police or the nut house, and they're going to drag me away live on the broadcast for sharing just wildness that I think in my brain here.
Hey, that's all right. We like the wildness. That's what the people like. So, but either way, Chris, it's always fun to sit around and bullshit about games and everything else is. I mean, hey, we're lucky. We get to talk about, sports betting and fantasy sports, and I mean, there's nothing else better. But moving on to the 2:00 games, Chris, we got Texas San Antonio, number 22. Man, they've been staying in this top 25, 11-0 on the year. They haven't actually covered the spread the last few weeks, but they got North Texas going down to North Texas. They started out at 12. They're giving them 10. Looks like some bettors have obviously backed North Texas, but 60% of the money that I see is coming in on UTSA. So it looks like a little bit of a reverse line movement. Both of them in their last 10 or 7-3 against the spread. Chris, what do you think about this one here?
This is going to be a great game. Probably not able to watch this. I don't even know where I would find it on my TV dial here. But if you look at it, UTSA over under, you can see the graphic here, 59.5. It opened, I believe. Yeah, it's opened at that and it's staying there. But to me, I'm taking Utah, Texas, San Antonio minus the 12 points in this one. I believe they win. Let me look at the final here, 45-24, something along those lines. And in North Texas, great school. I've watched some film on Jalen Guyton. He plays in LA with Justin Herbert here. So North Texas, a proud school, but I believe they fall short to Texas San Antonio.
Yeah, if anything here, I may be interested in the under. It looks like the last 6 meetings they've played a pretty slow-paced game, so that's something to think about there. But moving on to the 3:30 slate, where we have another big game here in the state of Michigan. Number 23 Penn State coming up to East Lansing. Number 12, Mr. Tucker out there has got his fresh contract, Chris. Big, huge payday for Mr. Tucker. Happy for him, all the Sparty fans. Looks like you guys landed your coach for the next decade or two. 9-2 Spartans playing the 7-4 Penn State Nittany Lions. And then Penn State also re-up Franklin. Chris, I don't understand that at all. I mean, I think that guy is a terrible coach. I would not be happy about that at all, especially for as long as they got him. But it sounds like if it isn't LSU or somebody looking for a coach, all these coaches are getting paydays and raises. So quite interesting there. But this one here opened up at Sparty's getting 1. The Spartys are now getting 2. Over under is 52. 57% of the money is coming in on the Spartys. They're 6-2-2 in their last 10 against the spread, and Penn State is 6-4 in their last 10 against the spread. But this one here, just looking at the overall head-to-head matchups, the favorite's 8-2 in their last 10 meetings. The over is 4-1 in their last 5 meetings at Michigan State, and the over's actually hit the last 8 out of their 11 meetings, Chris. So this one here, Chris, is interesting. I actually do think that the Spartans are going to be able to run a little bit here on Penn State. So I actually do lean this over here. I can't say that I think really what's going to happen here in this game is the turnovers. Whoever turns it over more here, I think these teams are pretty close. Whoever gives up a couple of big plays, I could see this game being swayed by 2 or 3 different plays, whether it be kick return, a turnover, or something like that. But, Chris, I think I like the over here in this game. What do you think?
No, you're absolutely right. And just a side note briefly, I'm so just out of touch or disconnected with Michigan State. And I'm being honest here, hand to the sky. When Michigan State and they announced that their coach, Tucker, was given this massive extended thing here, I wasn't even sure. I go, Mark D'Antonio? I thought Mark D'Antonio was still the head coach. I know it's embarrassing to say that out loud to people, but that's just how off the wall I am on Michigan State. I have no interest in following them here. But when you look at this game, I'm with you. I think it does. We'll see how Michigan State reacts after just getting absolutely spanked by Ohio State last weekend. So what's wild to me is you look at Penn State coming into this game, they're always a tough team. They always want to run. They want to shove it down your throat. I feel like all Big Ten teams are like that, especially this time of the year. Wisconsin likes to do that. Michigan State, and now Penn State here. So to me, I'm taking Penn State minus the 2 points. I do believe that the over hits big time. I think we're looking at 65-ish total points in this one. I have Penn State winning this one 34-31. So you're looking at, if it goes over is over, but at the point spread, I believe it opened at 2, as you said. Right now, it's only at -1.5 here. So you're going to sweat it out. But again, that's what sports betting is. If you want in on this kind of stuff, you have to sit back and realize it's not all sunshine and rainbows. But I'm taking Penn State minus the points, and I'm taking the over in this one and the Nittany Lions to beat Michigan State here.
Yeah, from what I'm reading here, Chris, too, it sounds like Michigan State may have some injury issues that we're going to have to kind of keep our eyes on. I know Jalen Reed suffered a foot injury against the Buckeyes, and Jalen Naylor set out, obviously, with that hand injury. But Walker supposedly sustained some sort of injury as well, so hopefully he gets out there. But, man, if any of those guys are out, that's going to be tough sailing for the Sparties, especially Walker. But, yeah, it just looks like here, with Penn State, I don't know. I just I can't get into anything that Franklin's doing. I mean, the Spartans are in a spot here where they need to win to keep them New Year's Day bowls for them up in grabs. But yeah, I think that I think I like the over here. But if Walker's out, that's obviously going to change that thought process for me. But going to look like I'm going to roll with the over. But moving on here, Chris, another 3:30 game. We got Oregon State traveling to Oregon to face the Ducks. Interstate rivalry. This one started at 7. It stayed at 7. Looks like this one here is a pretty even split. 53% of the money is coming in on the Ducks. 47% of the money coming in on the Beavers. So just kind of looking here, 9-2 for Oregon. Oregon State 7-4. They're 7-3 against the spread, that being the Beavers, and the Ducks are 4-6 against the spread. When you kind of look here at trends versus each other, the over is 8-1 in their last 9 meetings in Oregon. The Beavers are 5-1-1 in their last 7 meetings in Oregon. The road team is 11-3-1 in the last 15 meetings, but the over, Chris, is 14-4-1 in their last 19 meetings. So this game here historically has been a game where there's been a lot of points scored. So I think I'm going to follow that same trend here. I think Oregon can put up some points. And I think the Beavers are going to do the same. So we got a battle in the Beavers and the Ducks, and I think we're going to have all kinds of points being scored.
Well, yes and no here. Much like I said, Wake Forest at Boston College, I feel like that they got this one wrong in terms of the over under. And I get it, right? You look back throughout the history as you just laid out there, the over has been, I think you said, what, 14-4-1, something like that here. But to me, I like the under in this one. I do firmly believe that Oregon State at Oregon wins this one 28-24. So again, both teams, I don't think they'll struggle, but either team will not get to 30 points in this one. So to me, the under 60.5 is a good bet for me. Another one in my parlay, in my best bet bag of tricks here at the end of the show here. So again, Oregon's 11th. They're hosting the crosstown Beaver rivalries here. So give me Oregon 28-24. And again, I like the under here. We have to kind of take some risks in a big parlay, especially today when it's all rivalry stuff. It's going to look at a lot of close games here, and who knows what it holds here. But to me, I like the under in this one.
All right, sounds good. Another 3:30 matchup. We got the number 3 Crimson Tide playing their rival, going down to Auburn. This one started at 19.5. We're up to 20.5. The over/under was 55. We're at 57 here. So this one here, I think Nick Saban is going to really want to make just prove a point here. I mean, obviously they're in the playoff hunt, in the playoff talk. But, for me, Alabama always likes to fare pretty well here at the end here in their SEC matchups. So we obviously know they're going to have a big matchup here with Georgia coming up. I don't want to say they're going to treat this one here as a practice type game, but I could see them just wanting to roll it up here, especially in the first half. So I really like Alabama in the first half of this game. But the home team is 4-0 in their last 4 meetings against the spread. And the Crimson Tide have struggled out down there in Auburn. Only covered the spread the last 2 out of the last 8 times down there, Chris. But I don't know here. What do you think about here? Do you think Auburn has any kind of shot here at covering, getting these 20 points at home against the mighty Crimson Tide?
Absolutely, and that's where I'm leaning now. I already booked it. I like Auburn. It opened at, I believe, 20.5. That's where I locked it in. I know, throughout the week, just in fun messages, text messages, and tweets on social media here. Even Beer always says, look around where you can find the point spreads at where you like them here. So again, I try and lock in this stuff early in the week. Boom, right when it jumps out to me, just a gut feeling, run with it. And if I got to add more bets in as the week goes on, so be it. We're only talking, a couple bucks. If you want to put $100 down on something, then have at it here. But to me, Alabama at Auburn, I believe the over-under opened at 57. It's dipped down 2 points to 55 here. But I have Alabama winning this game, but a little bit closer than people think. I believe that Alabama puts up around 38 total points in this one compared to Auburn's 27 or 28 points here. So 20.5 is just a sweet spot for me. So I'm rolling with Auburn plus the points in this one.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think it's tough. I think Alabama's going to get out, like I said. I mean, this one here is tough. I think they're going to get out, but mean, I like what you're saying about Auburn. I'm not really 100% have conviction on this one. I just think Alabama's going to want to do pretty well in the first half. Now, that doesn't mean they can't get out, cover the first half. I'm going to guess it'll be around maybe 12, maybe a little over 10. So if they get out, you never know. I mean, that 20 and a half could definitely come into play, especially late if Alabama decides to sit their starters later in the game.
Correct.
But another one here, we got Tulsa at number 24, SMU. This one started out SMU minus 6.5, over under 62. Tulsa's 5-6. SMU is 8-3. 5-5 against the spread for SMU, and Tulsa is 6-4. This one here, Chris, I can't say I know too much about these teams here, but just kind of looking at some trends here for their past matchups here. The Golden Hurricanes are 4-0 in their against the spread their last 4 meetings. The underdog is 13-3 in their last 16 meetings. The road team is 5-2 against the spread their last 7 meetings, and the under has hit the last 9 out of 13 times here. So, Chris, I can't really say I have a lean to anything here. I really don't know too much about either of these teams, and I'm not going to act like I do. But is there anything here you could add to this game?
Yeah, I looked into this one briefly because just the name, the Golden Hurricanes, it's a sweet name. I look at the name. Do they have a cool logo? Can I get it on a hat? And then we go from there. So Tulsa at Southern Methodist, 24th ranked. And you look at it, the over-under, I believe it opened, I have in my notes, at 62 total points in there. Another game where it's just like they shot for the moon. You know, the sharps and the bettors shot for the moon when they set this line here. I have Tulsa. I'm going to take Tulsa plus the points, 6.5 points in this one. And I do believe that Tulsa can win this one. It's going to come down to it. But I have the Golden Hurricanes winning this one 28-27 at the final.
All right. Yeah, I like it. Like it. So another game we got here coming up is we got another Big Ten matchup. We got Wisconsin Badgers, the Beer Man's Badgers, going up to Minnesota. Looks like they started out giving 6.5. Now they're up to 7. But this one, Chris, over under 39. Man, that's a low score prediction here for a college game, especially. But just kind of looking here, 64% of the money at this point is coming in on the Badgers. The road team is 6-0-1 their last 7 meetings. The over has hit 16 out of their last 21 meetings. And the last 7 out of 10 meetings in Minnesota has gone over. And the underdog has actually covered 9 out of the last 14 meetings here, Chris. This one here, I think Wisconsin should be able to run a little bit here. And I could see this one going under, but man, that's pretty scary at 39.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. Just the MO of this week is people, you know, the sharps, as I said moments ago, they're setting the points too high or they're setting these ones too low. Wisconsin at Minnesota, I have damn near 50 total points scored in this one. So give me the over 39 big time. We're looking at 50, 60 bucks just on that one. I'm not even going to parlay it. I'm going to get the odds, put as I said, maybe even $100 on this one and just let it loose. I have Wisconsin winning this one. I mean, that's pretty clear in terms of who's going to win and what they're going to do. But I like Wisconsin to win 28-24 in this one. So over big time, and give me Wisconsin to win outright.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota has put up some points, 35-27. They had a stinker against Illinois. They put up 41 against Northwestern, 34 against Maryland, 30 against Nebraska. So, I mean, obviously they're capable of putting some points up, and if they make Wisconsin, if they come out and score a few points, they're going to make Wisconsin throw the ball a little bit. You could see a game like we saw with Nebraska and Wisconsin where it was 35-28. I know that one had a pretty low over-under as well at 43. Seems like all these over-unders for Wisconsin have been right around 40. And, man, they put up, 37 over-under against Rutgers, and they put up 52 themselves. So, yeah, that one's definitely interesting. I do like the overcall in that one there, Chris. But we got some 7 o'clock games to look at. We got a few more here before we get out here. We give you guys some best bets for our Saturday, so make sure you guys stick around for that. But we got number 15, Texas A&M at LSU. This one started at 6.5, still there, 45.5 over under. We got it up to 47. 65% of the money is coming in on Texas A&M. looks like both teams, we got Texas A&M is 8-3 against their straight up, and we have LSU just 5-6. We already know Coach O ain't coming back, but I don't know. Does LSU got any fight in them? I guess that would be the question. The Aggies are 0-5 their last meetings at LSU. They're 0-10 against the spread in their last 10 meetings, Chris, in this series. So, man, they have not had any luck with LSU. Is this their time this year?
No, absolutely not. I mean, again, maybe they give Coach O one last, push here, but I have Texas A&M winning this one. No problem taking the Aggies -6.5 here, and A&M wins 28-ish to 20 total. Could be even. I could see A&M putting up around 30 or 31 points in here. And again, not that it matters, but Coach O isn't coming back, so I could see a case where LSU they make a push late in this game. They get a late touchdown. They pull within 8, and then boom, that's it. Onside kick just to see what happens here. But the Aggies recover, and that's the game here. So give me A&M minus the points here. And in terms of the over-under, not even going to touch that one. This game it's just what it is. Just a ho-hum college game, which I'll glance right over. But before I place a little bet on the Aggies -6.5.
Yeah, LSU might need a win here to even get a bowl berth. So that's another interesting tidbit there. But another big 7:30 game we have. We got a big, huge game down there in Oklahoma. We got number 10 Oklahoma going over there to number 7 Oklahoma State. This one started at 3.5. Oklahoma State's 4.5. Oklahoma State 59% of the money so far. 10-1. Both teams are 10-1. And Oklahoma State is a whopping 9-1 in their last 10 against the spread. Man, this one here looks to be interesting. I don't know. I might get me a little nap in after that Michigan game, Chris. Maybe probably take a nap there in that Michigan State, Penn State game. Usually, that'll be happening. I'll probably be maybe tapped out a little bit after having a couple of them beers and chicken wings I was talking about. So maybe I'll wake up for this one here. But this one here, the under is 6-1 in the Sooners' last 7 games here. The last 7 games. The Sooners are 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 meetings at OK State, and they're 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 meetings, with the road team also being 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 meetings. So, Chris, is there anything that stands out here with this Oklahoma State game?
Yeah, aside from Michigan and Ohio here, this is the game I'm going to be in front of the TV for. I don't care where I am, probably on the couch eating leftovers, and we'll go from there here. But the Sooners and take on Oklahoma State here. If you look at it on the graphic here, the over-under is now at 51.5 points. When this game opened, it was at 49.5, and I was still a little bit apprehensive here. I think the sweet spot here is about 50 total points, 50.5 points here. So I would be cool. I was cool taking the over at 49.5 here, but 51.5, it just seems like too much for me. So as it stands now, 51.5, if it stays there, if it doesn't go down before kickoff, I like the under here. But if it drops down 50 or anything lower here, I would take the over. I know we're talking the difference of 1.5 here, but when you're talking college football or even NFL sports, the line is the line for a reason, because it's real dialed in here. So to me, I love Oklahoma State to win this one. So I have no problem taking them as it opened 4.5, but -3.5, even better here. So give me OK State to win this one, 28-21, something along those lines. And if you add that up, it equals an even 49 points or so. Give me the under 51.5 here, and we'll move on. I'm very excited for this one.
Yeah, it looks like at some books you could get a 49.5. There are some 50s out there. So, yeah, just look around depending on what side of that one you are. But we got another 7:30 game, number 17, Pittsburgh at Syracuse. This one opened up Syracuse +11. It's up to +13, 65% of the money is coming in on the Pitt Panthers. They're 9-2 so far this season. 7-3 against the spread. Syracuse 5-6. But the last 10, Syracuse has been 7-3 against the spread. Kind of looking at some past history here between these teams. The under is 5-0 in their last 5 meetings in Syracuse. The underdog is 4-1-1 in their last 6 meetings. And the under is 7-2 in their last 9 meetings overall. So just kind of looking at this one here, Chris, if I was to lean anyway, I think I would just take the Pitt Panthers here, give the 13 points to Syracuse, and I'll just take the better team here. Going to, I'm not afraid as long as it's under 2 touchdowns. I think I'd roll with Pitt here.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. You know what? It's something that happens through each season, right? Aside from our favorite teams, we start to, as we look ahead to the NFL draft or we play fantasy sports, there's certain players or kids that stand out to you that you enjoy watching. I love the Pitt quarterback here. I believe his name is Kenny Pickett. I mean, this kid is fantastic. I'd love to see him at the next level, see what he can do. Dual threat with his arm, he can run here. So to me, Kenny Pickett takes the ball and runs big time in here. Pittsburgh minus the 11 points. It opened in my notes. I have minus 13. So minus 11 is even sweeter here. And if you go back to what you just said, the under is just, you just hammer home the under in here, looking back through the last, 14, 15 games these two teams have played. The Orangemen in the Carrier Dome welcome in the Pitt Panthers here. But I have Pittsburgh winning this one, putting up at least 40 points in comparison to Syracuse's, 13-14 max amount, 17 points here. So give me Pittsburgh minus the points, and I'm not even thinking twice.
All right, I like it. So another game, we got another big game at 8 o'clock. Another game that is a rivalry. We got number 6 Notre Dame at Stanford. And Chris, I don't know how many times it seems like Stanford's a team. Whenever Notre Dame is up there and good, it seems like Stanford or USC, one of these two Pac-10 teams, usually gives them a hard time. And most of the time it's been Stanford, but 75% of the money's coming in. Stanford started plus 17. They're up to plus 20. And Chris, with Notre Dame being sitting here at 6, we obviously know Michigan, Ohio State are going to be playing. Georgia and Alabama are going to be playing next week. Man, I'm looking at here, Notre Dame's got to be thinking if they put up a mollywhopping here on Stanford, that's going to leave a pretty big thing in these voters' minds. I mean, do they squeak into the top 4? So I got to believe they're going to have to think that they're going to have to roll over Stanford here. I mean, they're 10-1. They're 8-2 against the spread. I just think here that Notre Dame is going to be hungry to make a statement here in this game. So, I mean, they're 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 meetings out there in California. So, Chris, I think I like Notre Dame here to put up a pretty big win. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. And the one thing that stood out to me is the under big time as it sits, even here, 52 and a half total points. I have Notre Dame winning this one. And it depends. It's what's your definition of big here? I have Notre Dame putting up just over 30 points. I have the final score 31-9, 31-10. So you're looking at a difference of, 20 points, 21 points. So again, what's your definition of big? I don't think we see a case here where Notre Dame, just pedal to the metal and they put up 40, 50, even 60 points. There's no way. Notre Dame, we know what they are, the Fighting Irish. They're a Catholic school. They're not looking to choke people out. And if they can win by 20 plus points, I think they're good with that one here. And to be fair here, I don't think there's any way in hell that Notre Dame squeezes into the top 4, even against a Stanford team who's not even Stanford, excuse me. They're not even good right now. And when you were talking, I didn't mean to be distracting when I was doing this, but it never seems like these teams are good at the same time. Remember all those Notre Dame and USC matchups? Notre Dame was down and USC had Reggie Bush and Leinart, and they never quite got on the same wavelength when they were both in the top 10 or both in the top 5 here. So to me, Notre Dame 6, going to Stanford. This one's going to be a snoozer. It's not going to be close. So the safe bet here for me, Scott, is under 52 and a half points.
Yeah, I think this one here, I'm going to tend to say I think Notre Dame is really going to, they just mollywhopped Georgia Tech 55 to bagel. I think they know what's in front of them. I think they know that they got to do that to even have a remote chance of getting in there, but we'll see what happens. I mean, one of these Big Ten teams could lose in the championship game, and then that could vault them up if that happened. Even if Michigan did beat Ohio State, let's say, and then they end up got to go over there and play Wisconsin or somebody like that. I mean, you never know. You never know what could happen. So if Notre Dame definitely needs to put one on Stanford here to keep their name in the discussion. But team here, Chris, that's normally up here, also fighting to get some playoff spot, but just not this year working out for them quite so well. We've got number 23 Clemson finally cracked back in the top 25. Going down there to face the Gamecocks, giving them 11.5 in South Carolina. Over under is 43 on this one. Clemson 8-3, South Carolina 6-5. I don't know this one. The money's coming in about 50% here, but Chris, I think I like South Carolina here, and getting all these points here at home. What do you think?
100%. And again, the MO of the video, hate to keep harping on it, are these whack over unders. Too high, too low. The over under in this one sits at 43. Look at that. I have I have South Carolina damn near putting up 43 points alone here. I have the final score here 38-28 in favor of South Carolina. So to me, I love the Gamecocks plus 11 and a half points in this one, and the over in here. If you can, bet both of these in the same spread, or just spread out your parlays here. One will have the over, and the other one will have South Carolina plus the points in this one. And this is, I'll get an early jump at our best bet segment at the end of the video. This one is by far my favorite bet of Saturday, of today's games here. Clemson, South Carolina, give me the over, and give me South Carolina to win, surprisingly, by 10 total points in this one, Scott. So with the points here, you're looking at South Carolina to cover and win by what, 20 plus points with the spread here. So I love this one all day.
Man, the money line on South Carolina is plus 350. So, yeah, sprinkle a little bit of that in on one of your parlays. That would definitely bump up your odds for that one. That's for sure. But we got one more game here, Chris. Before we get out of here, we give the people our best bets before we leave. But before so, we got number 13 BYU going down to USC over there. USC. The spread has stayed at 760. Over under 64 has stayed there. USC struggling this year, 4-6. BYU 9-2. I don't know. I think BYU is going to go in and put one on USC here. I think this is a little bit too low. I think Brigham Young is actually a lot better than some people think. I have looked into him a little bit. So I think BYU here is in a pretty good spot. So I'm going to roll with BYU minus the 7 at USC and see what I can do. But that's a pretty late game here, 10:30. I don't think I'll be up for this one, Chris.
No, I absolutely won't be up, but that won't stop me from getting in BYU minus 7 points. I mean, this is, I hate to say this, right? Because, we put ourselves out there with our fantasy content and our sports betting content. But I'm telling you right now, Scott, I'm telling whoever's behind the glass here and anybody that's watching this, BYU minus 7 points is the lock of the last, 2-3 weeks here. I have BYU just going nuts here, putting up 50 plus points to USC's maybe 14, 17 maximum here. So to me, I'm staying away from the over under here, although, I feel very comfortable taking the over in this one. But to me, it's BYU minus 7 points here. And I'll put everything I own on this point spread. BYU minus 7, give it to me. I'll wake up in the morning with a stuffed, account here after I win this one. So to me, not even close.
Yeah, only thing been stuff lately has been me with all this Thanksgiving food we've been having laying around, and all these leftovers and everything else. But Chris, it's time for that favorite part of the show. So let's give out our best bets. I'll give out mine first here on this Saturday. But again, hey, big game. Let's make sure you guys are down there. If you want to get over that little brown jug again, like I had mentioned earlier, make sure you guys follow our Twitter page, the Woodward Bets page. Make sure you guys follow the Woodward Sports page. We definitely appreciate that. And hey, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button for me. I really appreciate that. But Chris, my best bets today I got 3 of them today. So I am going to go with the over in the Michigan State game. I like the over 52 in that Michigan State game. I like the Pitt Panthers minus the 13. I'm going to roll with that. And then, Chris, the other one I'm going to play is the under in that Texas San Antonio game, the under 52. So there's 3 of them for you. Quick recap. Michigan State over 52. I got Pittsburgh minus 13. And then I have the under in the Texas San Antonio game, and that's at 59.5. So, Chris, what do you got for the people for today?
These ones are going to be sweet. Like I said, maybe I can take a screenshot and maybe post this once I find it on Twitter or any social media accounts for Woodward Bets or Woodward Sports. Make sure you follow. I'll start doing that more often. Just sharing my notes. It's tried and true. I've been doing it for 20 years, but not to put the segment to a grinding halt here. I love the over 52 points. Texas Tech at Baylor. Give me the over here. And if you're not too keen on the over, just sprinkle in Baylor minus 14. So Texas Tech at Baylor. Give me the over 52. I love the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes plus 6.5 points against SMU, Southern Methodist here. And I also, as I mentioned prior to the segment here, I love the over in the Clemson at South Carolina game. And if you want one more sweet thing, I see you're writing them down, Scott. Go back to Wisconsin at Minnesota, over 39 points. It's almost too good to be true today with what we're seeing here. So hopefully someone's grabbed a pen and paper. They've written it down. If not, I got it all right here for you.
Yeah, Chris. I mean, we get out the money gun. When we got the winners, we like to shoot money around. We giving out money. We're giving the free winners today. So hey, go blue. Let's go. That's gonna wrap up the Best Bet show today. We'll be back Sunday live. Let's go, Michigan. That's it. See you tomorrow.